Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Resto Mod Daisy. In today's video we're going to take a look at an old pre-war Daisy Red Ryder, number 111 model 40. It's on the bench in pieces right now because I wanted to use this opportunity to show you guys some of the things that can go wrong with your Red Ryders. This particular gun came in from another YouTuber who does Daisies. He sent it to me because he picked it up someplace and it kind of worked and kind of didn't. Main fault in the gun was that it would not go to battery. In other words, when you pulled the lever down, it would not engage the plunger assembly and lock it in place with the trigger. And we discovered the reason why for that. What you're looking at here is a pre-war Daisy Red Ryder. It's got the cast iron lever. It has a set of copper plated bands on it. We'll get to those in just a minute. And a small top stock screw. So what we're going to try to do is cover some of the stuff you look for when you're dicking around with older Daisies. Let's take a look at the problem this gun had. The bottom lever, this lever here, is the one that came in the gun. You'll notice that the nose of the lever is kind of ground off as compared to the replacement lever I'm putting on the gun. Now let's lay these over on top of each other, and I think you guys will be able to figure out why the gun would not go to battery. Because when it's lined up, the nose of the lever is so degraded from wear and abrasion that it wouldn't push the plunger plate all the way back so that the sear on the trigger can engage. Now, I've messed with Daisies quite a bit in my life, and I have never seen a cast iron lever with this kind of erosion on it. I mean, can you imagine how many cycles this gun had in order to wear that much of the nose away? And of course, once that part of the nose is gone, leverage is reduced, travel's reduced, the gun doesn't work. So that was the issue on that, a worn out nose. So that tells me that this particular gun had the snot shot out of it. Let's take a look at some of the other components that came on the gun that help us identify it. First is the fact that on our lever bolt and our trigger bolt, you'll notice that they both have washers. Now, I've seen several other Daisies, we've got another one here in the shop, that are set up the same exact way. The bolt that holds the stock in place did not have a washer on it. So that to me tells me it's pre-war. In addition to having this, the small top stock screw, and you'll notice a machine screw that was installed to hold the forearm in place. So lever should have a washer under it. The trigger bolt should have a washer under it. The stock bolt should not. It should have one of these small stock screws on the top of the stock, and it should have a fully threaded bolt that holds the forearm in place. Of course, here's a leather do-dangle that hangs off of the Latigo link. Whether that's original or not, I couldn't tell you. Let's take a look at the receiver real quick. We'll roll the roll stamp up. You can see that it's pretty visible. You know, it says Plymouth, Michigan. That's an important tell. It's got the adjustable rear sight on it. That's another tell. The later guns, post-war guns, were tack welded in place. Now we get down to the gingery stuff, the barrel band and the forearm band. Obviously that has copper on it. It's a steel unit, so it's been plated. That's predictable. This is, I believe, the original front band, and you'll notice it has a small dent right there. That indicates that it's peened. I want to show you what that looks like on another Red Ryder. That is a pre-war gun. Let's take a look at this guy right here. Now, this is also a peened attachment. So the question is, if they've been replated, how did they get the front band off? Well, I've looked at a couple of these, including this one here, and I believe that the front band's construction is that they formed it, bent it, and then welded it at the top. Because if you'll notice here, if we can get this shot for you, if you'll notice here, there is a small seam that runs down the top of that front sight, but it's interrupted about halfway. So I don't know for sure, because there's nothing in the literature that talks about how these the front sight bands were constructed, but I believe they formed them, tack welded them, and then cut them and installed them. That's my supposition, because you'll notice that seam isn't contiguous. There's a seam at the front, a seam at the back, and what appears to be solid metal in the middle. You can see that a little better on this replated band. Right there, we're looking at the same feature. You can see the the small seam, and then there's a section of metal in the middle that appears solid, and then another split. Well, this one had split apart, so what we did was we clamped it in situ and put a little dab of super glue down in there to try to hold it in place. It closed it up enough to look presentable. How durable that's going to be, I don't know, but I'm also not certain if this is going to be a daily shooter or a wall hanger. I mean, it does have some spectacular copper bands on it, so it would look good on the wall. Now, the other issue that this gun had was it was missing this little device, and that right there, that little spring, is the BB retention spring. That's a critical piece for the old style shot tubes. That's what retains the BB in place so that it doesn't roll out of the barrel before you pull the trigger. You know, I think I've been doing this upside down. Probably have. But we'll see how it turns out on video. Anyway, that had to be replaced. So the three things we had to do to the gun were get a replacement lever, which fortunately we had, replace the BB retention spring, which fortunately we had, and do a mechanical correction on the front side band so that it was not split apart. This gun had an original stock set with it. Looks pretty good. It's popular. It's got some wear and tear on the original varnish, but we've treated it with Danish oil to protect that bare naked wood. And back here on the back, you'll notice this is an appropriate stamp. Now, the difference in the roll stamps on the butts, the Red Ryder roll stamps, is the early guns had a thinner, less well-defined imprint on them, and they all featured the Fred Harmon signature, which this gun has and does. So, I wanted to show you one last thing about front barrel bands. The older guns have peened barrel bands. The post-war guns, because of the miracle of electronic welding, are tack welded, as you can see here. That's a tack weld. And you'll notice it is a much different appearance than the peened weld, or the peened front band. So that's a manufacturing difference between post-war and pre-war. And we'll take a look here on this gun. Since it's post-war, you'll notice it has a welded rear sight. Now this one, oddly enough, does have a small top stock screw, but I'm assuming that was probably because they just had the parts laying around at the factory when they put it together when they got back to making daisies after the giant war with the Japanese and the Germans. And here's an example of the lever bolt having a washer, the trigger bolt having a washer, and the stock bolt not having a washer. Cast iron lever is on this one as well. And let's see, so, you know, welded rear sight, welded front band. And that's how you try to differentiate between pre-war and post-war Red Ryders. They're all still solid guns. This one in particular runs. It runs better with a different shot tube, but it still runs pretty good. As you can see, we ran the regular series of tests on it. As received, once we got the spring installed and a lever on it, was running about 161 feet a second, kind of puny. I subbed in another shot tube, same style factory shot tube, that did not have a seam split. The seam split I'm talking about often occurs on these guns right here. You'll notice that small round hole where the spring mounts, see how that tube is kind of gapped? It is. So it's losing some compression right there at that point. And since that is at the base of where the air tube enters the shot tube, hits the BB and provides a little puff of air to shoot it down the barrel, it's losing a lot of speed right there. And by just subbing in a shot tube that did not have a seam, we jumped it from 161 to about 213. Here's the keen thing. If you put a current production model 25 shot tube in it, which is a better design, no seamed shot tube, crown barrel, the whole 9 yards, she jumps up another, 70 feet a second to 282, which is pretty damn respectable for a original gun, pre-war gun with leather seals and the original top hat air tube inside it. So it runs pretty good with a Model 25 shot tube, but speed isn't important to the customer in this particular case. Well, so there we go. That's one of the ways you try to tell a pre-war from a post-war Daisy. And we've investigated the copper band controversy. It looks really good, but certainly has been repainted, or excuse me, replated. Well, that's all we've got for you today, kids. This is Shane Bruce with Resto Mod Daisy, signing off.